You know, people have been asking me so much about a photo I sent out on Facebook on this mac and cheese with shrimp. And I got pestered so much, I said, okay, let me break down and I'm going to make some mac and cheese. But let me say this. Everybody in the world thinks they have the best mac and cheese. Oh, my mother makes the best, or my grandmother makes the best, or whomever. I just want to let you know something. There is no such thing as the best mac and cheese. It's just one of those things that everybody thinks they do it better than everybody else. It's a matter of what you like. But I gotta tell you one thing, I know what I like. I like the basic, down, home, grown to the bone mac and cheese that my ancestors used to make. And it was simple ingredients. Not all this stuff now with Monterey Jack cheese and Gruyere and all that nonsense. And heaven forbid, if you use Velveeta cheese, then we're not even talking, okay? And none of that soupy stuff either. Down, home, grown to the bone, southern mac and cheese, the southern smoked. Let's get into it right now. Very simple. The first thing I have here, I use elbow macaroni. That's a traditional macaroni that you use for mac and cheese. As I said, there's no one way, but when you talk about traditional mac and cheese, this is what we're talking about, okay? So you've got your elbow macaroni. You have a mixture here of mild and sharp cheddar cheese. Mild and sharp. About 4 8-ounce packages, one of each, or two 8-ounce packages of mild shredded cheddar cheese and 2 8-ounce packages of sharp cheddar cheese. Now, you can use extra sharp. That's not bad. But I use sharp and mild, and I blend those together. So I'm going to put this on the side here. I've got my smoked paprika. That's what gives it the smoky flavor, the southern smoke flavor. I have butcher style pepper. It's good. I like the larger granules because once again, it just, when you sink into it, it just bursts in your mouth. And I have, of course, 1 stick of salted butter. And I have about 5 eggs in here, beat up. And I have maybe about a cup and a half or so of milk. All right? So that is basically it. That's all it is. But it's a trick on how I do it that makes it what I believe is what I consider one of the best, or what I like. Okay, let's get started. I have a pan here, a aluminum pan. This is about a 16 5/8, 11.5 inch rectangular pan, about 2 inches deep. The mac and cheese I use here, or the macaroni, elbow macaroni, pasta, I have about a box. So here's what I do. Let me get a glove here, because the pot is hot, and I don't want to get burnt. So what I do here is I layer. Barbara, if you could come in, I know this pot is kind of... Okay. So I take a little bit here, and I put down the macaroni first, the elbow macaroni, okay? I put that on the bottom, and then I take the cheese, and I just pour the cheese, this mixture of the mild and sharp cheddar cheese on top, okay? And that's the process. It's almost like making lasagna, where you put layers on. Of course, you know, the lasagna itself and, you know, the meat, whatever you're using, and you just keep on layering it. So that's what's happening here, all right? There you go. This is really, really simple. Now, a lot of people mix their cheese and their macaroni. I don't do it. Is one way better than the other? Not really. But this is how I do it. And it just really comes out even, as opposed to just mixing it all up or whatever. You know, take a little time with it. Not much, but just a little time. So I'm going to put some more on top here. And for this pan, I have basically 2 layers. All right? Now, depending on how many people you're going to feed, you will have, you know, more macaroni. Okay, this is a small batch here. All right? Okay, I'm just going to spread this out. Now, if I was making for a lot more people, I'm taking this over to my boys at the my mechanic shop over at Nut Just Lube. They don't know they're getting it today. I told the owner, they're surprised they're going to get it. And then here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my last layer of cheese, and I'm going to throw it over the top of this. All right? And that's it. So let me just, forgive my hands here, layer this out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the butter. Now let me just say something to you while I put this on here. This is not for the faint of heart. If you're on a diet and all that stuff, you're in the wrong side. See, there's certain things that you can't skimp on. Mac and cheese is one of them. Either you're in it or you ain't. But it's got to be the serious stuff. You can't skimp and put like, skim milk. No. It's not going to come out the same. You got to use the down home to the bone ingredients. That's it. So now I'm going to layer more of this cheese on, this butter on top. As I said, this is, you don't eat this all the time. But let me tell you something. When you do eat it, listen, you're on the money. Okay? So there you go. Now, what I do is I'll take my pepper and I'll sprinkle my pepper on the top. Okay? My pepper goes on the top here. All right. Okay, there you go. And you season the taste, but you just use enough just to sprinkle the coat so you can see, these ingredients. And then here we go with the paprika, the smoked paprika. This stuff just comes out so slow. My goodness. But the bottom line is, thanks, Boo. Boo's always looking out for me with that camera, getting to work in there so you can see everything. So here we go. I'm going to sprinkle more on. You want to be liberal with the smoked paprika. And you can use regular paprika if you'd like. That's what most people use. But when I call it Southern smoked, and you'll see when you taste this, you can really taste the smoky flavor in this. It's just taking me long to get this stuff out. Yeah, something later for that nonsense. I'm going to open this thing up, and I'm going to put some in my hand here, and I'm going to sprinkle some more on here. Okay? There you go. And it really gives it a nice look. But it's not the look of the paprika, the smoked paprika. It's actually the flavor that will make this thing stand out from the rest. So there you go. The last thing that you want to do are put on your eggs and your milk mixture. So what this does is, it takes some of the seasoning and it puts it down into the mac and cheese. Some of it, not all, but it does the trick. And this basically binds the macaroni, the cheese, the butter, all that, the eggs and the milk. And it just, Lord have mercy. Okay? This is it. All right? Now, you take this and you put it in the oven. I put it in for about 350 degrees. And you let it bake. Depending on the depth of the pan and how much mac and cheese will determine, how long you keep it in there. I would say a minimum of about a half hour. But you can always test it, just take with a spoon and see if everything is melted. It's very easy. And what comes out is this. Now this is what I served at the Soundbite in these little individual dishes. And you can see how the cheese just stretches out, oozes out. Let me tell you something. Now, listen to me. Oh no, see? Oh yeah, it's delicious. Just after. I gotta say this.
Say something for me.
No. I don't want to get lit up in here. Now listen. That's the basic. You're never gonna go wrong with this kind of mac and cheese. It's not runny. If you like all that runny stuff, you're in the wrong house. Once this thing is cooked, it's almost like a cake or a pie. In fact, in the West Indies, they call it macaroni pie. You see, so it sticks together and you cut it. You can kind of cut this stuff and cut it in squares or whatever. Now, you can put your toppings on. Now, I use in the restaurant, I use shrimp, my 1620 size shrimp. I used lobster, and I used andouille sausage. You can use any of those mixtures. Now, you can also mix that in to the pan. But I tell you, if you mix it in, especially if you're running a restaurant and stuff and you want to save money, not skimping on what you're giving your customers, but it takes a lot more of that of your proteins to mix in, as opposed to just serving it like this and then putting, you know, on this serving, you put like 3 shrimp on there. Or you have lobster tail, you cut your lobster tails and put that on, or some sausage. Listen, you don't have to go ape crazy with it. It'll do the same thing, you know, without having to, you know, spend a lot more money, and you're getting the same flavor, you're getting the same value. You can't go wrong, baby. And as you know, as Don Cornelius says, you can bet your last money is all gonna be a stone gas, honey. Chef Julian's Southern Smoke mac and cheese. I'm out.